Good morning, all of you. In last video, we have discussed about the effective communications and feedback and the different type of communication skill. In this video, we are going to discuss about the principles and the barriers of effective communication. Effective communication is the one where both parties participate in constructive way. An effective communication system provides liberty to both the sender and receiver to convey their messages reasonably. Effective communication is a two-way communication process where both parties have right and convenience to express their messages, opinions, fact, other information and so forth. Effective communication follows some principles. Also, there are some barriers to effective communication. In this video, we shall talk about principles of communication, barrier to effective communication, and how these barriers can be overcome. So, let's start with principles of effective communications. Effective communication means transfer of exact message in time with clarity. In order to have effective communication, there are some principles that are following. They are listed here. Clarity. The message being conveyed should always be in easily understandable language. Attention. The receiver should be fully attentive in communication process. For this, the manager should arouse the interest of receiver so that the receiver pays proper attention. Consistency. This principle implies that communication should always be consistent with the planned objective of message being conveyed. Adequacy. The information being communicated should be adequate and complete in all respects. Never convey incomplete or inadequate information. Timeliness. The message being conveyed must be conveyed at the proper time. Also, the feedback must also be conveyed in time. Otherwise, the communication will lose its importance and effectiveness. Feedback. The communication must have feedback confirmation from the recipient whether the message have been understood by the recipient in the same sense in which the sender takes it for. Economy. The communication should take place in a way that cost optimally. If there are other ways of communication that can convey message with less cost, then those methods should be preferred. So these are some principles of the effective communication. Now let's discuss about the 7 C's of effective communication. The communicator or the sender bears the primary responsibility of effective communication. The sender is responsible for constructing a message in a way that is clear and deliverable in time. A sender must follow some rules for creating messages known as 7 C's of effective communication. These rules are: control. You should have control over yourself, your body language, pace, tone, etc., and over your audience if possible. Conversational. Try to converse the try to converse to involve the other person. Do not lecture, do not whine, and do not get angry or over emotional. Have a conversation no matter what the other person or people do in a meeting. Negotiation when customer is complaining, etc. Just keep control and keep it conversational. Confident. Your confidence makes the other person listen to you. Your voice should be loud enough and at a controlled pace. Your body language should be strong with straight back, meaningful gesture, and great eye contact, and so forth. Competent. Carefully observe the listening parties' responses and adjust your use of language, non-verbal behavior, and your approach to make the communication successful. Calm. If you stay calm, you are more likely to both calm down other and to continue to communicate calmly. Control your breathing, pace, volume, etc. in relaxed way. Use rhythmic gesture as well. Nothing fast and darting. Clear. Be clear in your message. Don't let people guess your meaning. State clearly. Concise. Be specific. Do not waste valuable time. Say what you have to see and ask what you need from your listener or team. And then let them go. When giving suggestion, advice, or orders, give them with appropriate details delivered in a short and concise way. So these are some 7 C's of effective communication. Now let's discuss about barriers in communication. Sometimes you are saying one thing, but people perceive it in another way. Miscommunication can lead to many problems. There are several factors or barriers which are responsible for the way people view our message. This factor includes lingual factor. Language can be a barrier to effective communication. For example, a Spanish man who only speaks and understands Spanish would not be able to interact with an Indian woman who is only familiar with Hindi. Environmental factors. If you if your surroundings do not support proper communication, it can also act as a barrier to appropriate interaction. You would not be able to understand what your friend is saying if you both are at a rock concert due to the noise coming from the surroundings. Past experiences. Our experience sometimes inhibits us from understanding and communicating clearly. If you fall while riding a bicycle, you might be afraid of riding a bicycle again in the future due to your experience. So, if someone is telling you the advantage of cycle rides, you might not be understand his or her point of view. Cultural influences. Sometimes our cultural differences hinder us from communicating properly. In North America, for example, in North America, it is okay to touch children on their heads, while in Asia, it is considered highly inappropriate and is not accepted at all. Prejudice. Having preconceptions can very well ruin the chance of proper communication. Like thinking all teachers are strict and strain the chances of having relationship or even conversation with teachers in the future. Feelings. We all can very well relate to this. Sometimes our feelings stop us from effective communication. If we are upset about something, we try to avoid conversation topic that remind us of the thing that is making us angry. Personal factors. Personal factors are different from each. For example, lack of confidence makes communication difficult for some people. Now, measures to overcome barriers of communication. You just read about various barriers of effective communication. If you know the barrier, you can take countermeasures to overcome it to make communication possible. Different barriers requires only measures to overcome them. Let us discuss different measures that you can apply to overcome the barriers to effective communication. First one, overcoming lingual factors. To overcome the barrier of lingual factor, you need to prepare appropriately. Remember that preparation is an essential part of communication. You should carefully think about the language need of your receivers or audience. Then you may use visual, for example, photographs, drawing, diagrams, and so on, to overcome language barriers. You may also use non-verbal communication. However, you should be aware that different situations and different cultures, including uh, workplace culture, having varying interpretations of non-verbal communication. What is acceptable in one culture may be offensive in another. So, carefully use non-verbal communication. Overcoming environmental factor. To overcome the barriers of environmental factors like noise, mosquito, too hot or too cold, and so forth, the communicator should ensure that the message is delivered in distraction free environment. To address these issues, the communicator may need to stop, get some remedial measures done. For example, get the temperature of AC adjusted and then repeat the message in a distraction free environment. Next one, overcoming barrier of past experience. These barriers can be overcome keeping in mind the psychology of receivers. Using subjective measures like encouragement, stimulants like achievement appreciation, showing role models who overcome such things can help. However, in such a case, this thing must not be forced as the receiver may feel anxiety and panic. Instead, calmly try to use these measures after gaining the receiver's confidence. Next one, overcoming barrier of cultural influences. To overcome this barrier, you should do proper preparation by knowing about the culture of the people you are addressing. You should clearly understand what things may be misunderstood and what things are perceived differently in their culture. Keeping these things in mind, you should then frame your message, ensuring that no part of it offend anyone as per their cultural beliefs. Overcoming prejudice. To overcome prejudice, you need preparation beforehand. You should engage in dialogue with individuals and ask them questions in composed and friendly way to alleviate their anxieties and confusions. This will create an open atmosphere for communication. Next one, overcoming barrier of feeling and personal factors. If feelings are overwhelming, then communication might not be possible. So the communicator should patiently give time to the receivers to calm down. After this, communication may take place. For overcoming the barrier of personal factors, measures like overcoming past experience can be taken. So these are the some barriers of effective communication. Effective communication is very important skill. In fact, effective communication is essential for success. So these are some principles and barriers of effective communication Now let's move to the next topic, basic writing skill. So you have been through a basic introduction to communication skill, its components, its importance, its types, and so on. You have also read in your previous class about how to form and speak basic sentences, punctuation rules, pronunciation rules, and talking about basic things in English. In this uh, vid- in this next discussion, we shall talk about further about communicating in English, but this time we shall talk about written English. First one, sentence construction. Recall that sentence is a group of words that are complete, meaningful, and together uh, make sense and convey a specific meaning, facts, message, information. For example, Sina works in an office. Recall that a sentence always has a subject and a verb. For example, in the above example sentence, the subject is Sheila and the verb is works. In the office is not a sentence because it is not complete as it is not conveying enough information. With in the with in the office, you still need to know who did what. Punctuation wise, a sentence must begin with capital letter and end with any of these punctuation signs like full stop, question marks, exclamation mark. For example, the bird picked the worm. Where did you go? What a tall sculpture. The first one is ended with full stop, next one is ended with question mark, and last one with the exclamation marks. Next one, phrases. A phrase, a sentence is a group of words that form a complete unit, complete in structure as well as in meaning. A phrase, on the other hand, is also a group of words that have some sense and also acts as a part of a speech but not structurally complete, does not convey the full meaning. Structurally, a phrase does not have a subject and a verb, but a phrase can be used as a part of sentence in any of these forms: noun, verb, adverb, or adjective. For example, on the rooftop, under the table, around the corner. Now, each of above given phrases makes some sense but does not convey full meaning and understanding. To make complete understanding, these phrases need to be placed in the full sentence with other words, like he is sitting on the rooftop, my dog is lying under the table, the bakery is around the corner. So, these are phrases. Now, next kind of sentence. You have read that there can be simple sentences, compound sentences, and complex sentences. These are type of sentences when we look at the sentence structure. That means sentence structure wise, the sentence can be simple, compound, or complex sentence. But depending on the purpose of sentences, there can be four kinds of sentences. Declarative sentence. A declarative sentence makes a statement and ends with the period, also known as assertive sentence. In this type of sentence, the subject usually comes before verb. So these are the four. First one declarative, that's also known as assertive, interrogative sentence, and imperative sentence, and exclamatory sentence. These are the four types. Uh, so let's start with the declarative sentence. As we discussed, the declarative sentence makes a statement and end with the period, also known as assertive sentence. In this type of sentence, the subject usually comes before the verb. For example, my mother gifted me a book. Nevada is hardworking girl. James sings. All different type of sentences, past tense sentence, present tense sentence, future tense, simple sentence, compound sentence, etc., that end in a period and make a statement are declarative sentences. Now next one, the interrogative sentence. A sentence that asks a direct question is interrogative sentence. An interrogative sentence either begin with interrogative word such as what, when, why, where, whom, how, or with a to be verb such as do, does, is, am, are, was, where, will, shall, and always end with a question mark. For example, what is your school's name? Is he your classmate? Where does your friend live? So these are some interrogative sentence. Next thing, imperative sentence. The sentences that express a command, instruction, prohibition, request, or advice are imperative sentence. The imperative sentence begin with the base form of verb. Its subject is not explicitly given. Instead, its subject is by default understood. For example, turn off the lights. It's a command. Be brave. And it's an advice. Please do me a favor. It's a request. Notice all above sentences use the basic form of the verb. Turn, be, do. Not as turning or turns or turned or was or were or doing or did or done. For example, in sentence, go to school. Here we use the go. It's an imperative sentence, and phrases like going to school, gone to school are not imperative sentence. Now next and last is exclamatory sentence. Sentences that convey some strong feelings or emotions are known as exclamatory sentence. The exclamatory sentences begin with word like what, how, etc. Usually, not always, and end with exclamation mark. For example, what a weather! How cute! What a terrible end of movie! How lovely this song is! So these are the exclamatory sentences. So these are some writing skills that you have to keep in mind while using or preparing a paragraph or sentence. So that's all for today. Thank you.